Hey guys, so this is a question. This is question number 6 from our Think 6 that we took before spring break. So I wanted to do an instructional video for you, just going through this question and helping you to understand. If you have been assigned this question, it means you missed it. Okay, so I want you to look at this. I want you to work through this problem with me. You are writing, I am writing, okay? So you're following along and writing what I'm writing, okay? So I want you to be confident in these skills, and these are things that you're going to need in 6th grade. So even though we're not taking a STAR test, that does not mean we get to slack off. We have to still know what we need to know for 6th grade. It's very important. All right, so number 6, Canoe is playing football for his local elementary school. His coach told him that he must drink more water daily as he works out on the field. On Monday, Canoe drinks half a gallon of water. On Tuesday, Canoe drinks 3/4 gallon of water. On Wednesday, Canoe drinks 1 3/6 gallons of water. How much more water did he drink on Wednesday than on Tuesday? So we have some important information here. Monday, he drank half a gallon. Tuesday, he drank 3/4 of a gallon of water. And Wednesday, he drank 1 3/6 gallon of water. Okay? So really what's most important is Tuesday and Wednesday, because they asked us in the question, what is the question actually asking us? How much more did he drink on Wednesday than on Tuesday? So they are, we can see here that 1 3/6 is larger than 3/4. So we're trying to figure out how much more he drank. So when they're asking us how much more, we know what operation is happening here. That is correct. We are subtracting, okay? So now we know to add or subtract fractions or mixed numbers, we have to create, yes, a 4 square. I hope you did your 4 squares for your activities last week. All right, so we're gonna make a 4 square, and we know that we are subtracting 1 3/6 minus 3/4. We have to put this number first because we are subtracting. All right, so we write the problem, and then we ask ourselves, whoops, I got ahead of myself, same or different? So that's a question. So we're looking at the denominators, and we know that in order to add or subtract fractions, that our denominators need to be the same. And in this case, they are different. So that means that we are moving on to the next part of our 4 square. So here, our little note that we write at the top is LCD. We're looking for the least common denominator. Okay, so we have 2 numbers here. We have 4 and 6. Ms. Hale always recommends starting with the smaller denominator, because sometimes when you start with the smaller denominator, you don't have to make a tic-tac-toe board for the larger one. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, and we're looking for 6. If we come across 6, then we know we don't need to make a second tic-tac-toe board. We've already passed 6, so I know that I'm going to have to make another tic-tac-toe board, and I could need all of these numbers. It is possible. So I'm going to go ahead and fill them in. All right, so I have all of my numbers for this tic-tac-toe board. So now I need to make another tic-tac-toe board. I'm only going to make as many numbers as I need here. So as soon as I see a number in common, then I'm going to stop, okay? So I have 6, 12. Oh, I found a number in common. So 12 is my LCD. So I fill that in. All right, then I move down here. Multiply, then add or subtract. All right, so just like in last week's video, multiply is, the purpose of the multiplication is to create an equivalent fraction that is cut into the same number of pieces and has the same value as the original fractions that we started with. So we have 3/6 and we have 3/4 that both need to change to fractions with a common denominator of That is correct. Your LCD 12. Okay, so our little equation that we use is 3/6 times blank fraction bar equals blank fraction bar. We fill in our LCD. We can do this for both fractions because both fractions need to change the denominator. So times blank fraction bar equals blank fraction bar, fill in 12. How you do that, in what order you do that, it doesn't really matter. All right, so 6 times what number gives me 12? I can fill in this blank right here and make this statement true. So 6 times, if I go back to my 6 tic-tac-toe board and count the boxes, 1, 2. So 6 times 2 equals 12. So whatever I do to the denominator, I also have to do to the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so the same thing needs to happen for this fraction. So now I have 4 times what number gives me 12? Well, if I go back up here, 1, 2, 3. So 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now up here, I have to make sure that I put, since I'm subtracting, I have to make sure I put the numbers in the same order that as they are up here. So 3/6 came first, so 6/12 comes first. Minus 3/4, so 3/4, and this is the equivalent fraction, minus 9/12. So 6/12 minus 9/12. Well, I can do 6 minus 9. However, that gives me a negative number, and that is 6th grade content, so I'm not sure how to do that. So I am going to need to borrow. So what number does 6/12 belong to that I can find some value? So if you go back up here, you can see that 3/6, which is 3/6 and 6/12, they belong together, okay? I had some value right here in this 1, so I'm actually going to borrow from that 1 whole. Now, when I do that, I have to take and I have to add 1 whole to this fraction right here. Now, how am I going to represent 1 whole in the correct numbers here? So I have 6/12 already, and I know that if I'm going to add fractions, that they have to have the same denominator. So if I'm going to make the fraction, I'm going to make the fraction that has the correct denominator that I know I already need, so that I don't have to go back through all of this process. So the denominator that I already have is 12. So my whole is represented as 12/12. And I'm going to add 6/12. And that gives me 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm sorry, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18/12. So now this number would turn into 18/12. Okay, so then I have 18/12 minus 9/12, and that gives me 9/12. Okay, so now I have to move. This is technically my answer is 9/12. However, I have to make sure it's in its simplest form, especially since when I look at my answer choices, there is not one that says 9/12. So I need to make sure this is simplified. So simplify, and we're going to divide or we're going to draw, okay? Either one is appropriate. Now, either one is appropriate for the correct fraction. This dividing is for a proper fraction. Drawing is for an improper fraction. So this is a proper fraction because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make my T-chart, okay? So now in the sideways T-chart, what do I list? That is correct. I list the factors. All numbers have 2 factors, 1 and itself. So 1 goes here, 9 goes here. Then I work through my numbers. 2 times what number gives me 9? Well, 9 is odd, so I know that doesn't work. 3 times what number gives me 9? 3 times 3 actually gives me 9. 4 doesn't work. 4 times 4 would be 16, so that goes way over. 4 times 2 is 8, so that doesn't work. So now I think I'm done with all of the factors of 9. So then I have 1 and 12 on the bottom, 1 in itself. Then I have 2 and, that's correct, 6. And then I have 3. I'm just working through my numbers here. 3 times what number gives me 12? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that would be 4. So now I have 2 consecutive numbers, so I know that I am done. Now, what are we looking for here? We are looking for the GCF, and I should have written that note before as well. Okay, so our greatest common factor. So the largest number that both lines have in common. And you are correct, the GCF is 3. Okay, so now we're going to use our little equation that we used in this box over here, but we're going to change our operation to be division because we're trying to make this number, we're trying to simplify it, we're trying to make it smaller. Okay, so now we have 9/12 divided by blank fraction bar equals blank fraction bar. And instead of filling in this fraction bar, we actually are going to fill in this fraction bar. So we're going to fill in this fraction bar with our GCF, 3. So 9 divided by 3. Well, if we go back over here and we connect 3 and 3, excuse me, then that tells us that 3 is the other number that goes here. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then we have 12. So 3 and what number connect here? 3 and 4. Those are partners, okay? So then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So the simplified form of 9/12, and which is equivalent to 9/12, is 3/4. So the correct answer to this question is H, 3/4. Awesome job, guys. Hey, if you have any other questions about this question, or if you need any further explanation, please join me in my Google Hangout. I'm available from 10 to 11 and from 1 to 2 every single day. Love you guys. Bye.